Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss how to have good relationship with your adult children. In our past video we saw how to have the right mindset before we can discuss the strategies because it's very important. So if you haven't watched it, so please go there and watch that video so that we understand this aspect better. So today we are going to discuss how to have a better relation based on some strategies. So in order to understand it easily and remember what has been discussed, I have made a little formula, and the formula is A, B, and C. So it's very simple, A, B, C. So we are going to discuss all that. So A is for acceptance. Now, mostly, the conflict between the parents and young adults start when the parents do not accept certain things. And that actually trigger a lot of conflicts and disappointments and disagreements. So, first of all, let's understand that it's important to first accept whatever the situation is and whatever that can be. Like sometimes the children may just make some decisions that you are not happy about, or you're not comfortable, or you may have some concerns about that. But in any case you need to accept it. So that is the acceptance part of it. So sometimes maybe you are not happy with the kind of friends that they may be hanging out with, or maybe some other decisions related to career and finances, or education, or their lifestyles, or food choices, or choice of even partners. So you may not be comfortable with them at all, but still you have to accept it. So once you accept it, it actually eases out the resistance. Always remember, acceptance eases out the resistance. So when you accept it, then the resistance is gone. And once the resistance is gone, then you can deal with any issues very, very, very easily. But what happens if suppose I don't accept something, then I won't even be open to discuss about it, because I'll just simply say no, 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 this is wrong, this is wrong. Then the communication doors are just closed, before we can even discuss something. So that's why the first step is very important. I know it's very difficult, very, very challenging, and sometimes very uncomfortable, but also it is the most important crucial step towards building good relationship with your children. So that's the A. Now B is for boundaries. Now boundaries are very, very important, and the boundaries should be from both the sides, so not only just parents but also the children. So as the children grow up, or like as I discussed in the previous video, that as soon as they go in the secondary school, certain degree of boundaries needs to be in place. Like, you cannot just simply barge in their rooms. You have to knock on the door and then only enter. This is like, sometimes it can be a little difficult for the parents, especially when the children just start to go to secondary school. But if you have practiced long enough, then this becomes very easy. So this is just an example. Of course, in adult children's room, you're not just going to barge in, but this is just an example of boundaries, how the boundaries are. These are very small and very subtle and non-verbal communication that actually sets the boundaries. And another example of the boundary is that when you are hanging out with your children's friends or colleagues or something, at the time it's very important to respect the children's attitude, and to respect the child's personality and all. At the time, you either crack a joke, which you may want to feel cool about it, but suppose you crack a joke which is not quite relevant to the topic or something, or maybe you just mention something very funny from their childhood or something. Very common these examples are, but it happens. Now at the time, you have unknowingly, or just out of ignorance, you have crossed the boundaries and you have not realized it. Or sometimes you disagree with your child in public or something. That's when you are also crossing the boundaries. You are not realizing. You may think you are right, you are also the adult, you have all good intentions, but unknowingly, if you do this, then you cross the boundaries. And once you cross the boundaries, the children are not going to respect you, and that's when then they are not going to listen to you, and then there will be huge conflicts again. So another aspect of this point is that the children must know their boundaries as well. Now this particular point nowadays has become quite rare, that most parents are not teaching the children their boundary, and they learn to get away with whatever they want, and they also expect the same thing from the world, and not respect other people's boundaries as well. This needs to be taught to the child, especially the young adult, because young adult is very close to the teenage years, so they sometimes do not understand. And always remember that the brain development is not finished until late 20s. So this particular time period from the teenage years to the adulthood, like late 20s, is a very crucial time to build the right personality for your children, so that then they can first not have conflicting relationship with other people, including you, and also they respect and observe those boundaries with other people. Suppose they misbehave, or they shout and scream at you, or they get very annoyed and do something which is very inappropriate, then you must show them their boundaries as well. When there is this boundaries are in place, then the communication gets really easy. And this is a very simple way of avoiding huge conflicts, because then the code of conduct is in place. So then the discussion, whatever happens, is more effective. So that is another important aspect. Now C is for connection, communication, and correction. So first of all, you need to have good communication and good connection with your child. So there are a lot of ways to connect to the adult children. It's a huge topic. I'll make a separate video about it. But in general, keep general connection with your child. Like you either if they are living abroad or in some other place, then you can send a simple text every day, or have a quick phone call. Just even a couple of minutes a day also is a good time. Or you can send them some pictures of what you are doing, or something, like if you have got a pet, their pictures can be great way of connection. Or just keep them updated about what you are doing, and ask them what they are doing. So these are very simple ways to connect to the child. Now once you have got good connection with your child, then, and also coupled with communication, then it is very very easy for you to open up to your child, and the child to open up to you, and then discuss something really really important, or something really worrying, or some any aspect that you are not very comfortable about. But this two are very important: connection and communication. Then you can have the correction part of it. Suppose you're not very comfortable about your children's certain decisions, or some choices or something, then you can openly discuss these things, because you already have followed A, B, C, C, and now you are correcting. So all these aspects, when you do it properly, and have open mind, and then listen to what they need to convey to you. And when all these things are in place, then all your communication will be very effective. You can come to a middle ground, or you can understand their perspective, and then if needed, you can correct. You can give them all the food for thought, some different perspective about what they are doing, where it can lead them to, or what the downfall in there might be, and why you are concerned. When all these things are conveyed in a proper manner, with boundaries in place, and with a lot of respect and a lot of maturity, that's when your relation with your child will be optimum. So see, the relationships are very very important, and nowadays everyone is becoming very lonely and isolated. This is very crucial that you build good connection with your child and have great relationships. Always remember, your relationship with your child will build foundation for all the relationships in future. So always work on yourself and your children and the relationships, and then you will see miraculous outcomes. So that's all for today. If you have got any insight, or you found this useful, do let me know in the comments. I'll be very happy to read. And if you want me to make some videos about any particular topic, that also you please let me know, and I'll be very happy to make it. So until next time, just Just think about this, have some insight, and if you have got any insight, please share. And until next time, be mindful and happy parenting.